Sup guys, I'm not even going to wait for this countdown. I'm ready to go. You guys ready to go? I'm just going to turn my mic down because it's peaking. Sup everybody, nice to see you. I'm back, second stream today. I was just sitting on the couch looking over our Discord group and I can see Zach, I think it was Zach. Zach was doing a short, and no disrespect, Jack. I'm no one to judge. Trust me. I did an even worse long just yesterday, and I got called out for it from our esteemed leader, Dr. Nick. And he's right. He's right. 50% zone. It's the no-go zone. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at your trade right now. Hey, look, you could win this trade. It could happen. Once your trade's in, lock it in. Just let it go. See how it goes. I'm not saying take your trade off. Once it's in, it's in. You did the TA. You may as well see if you win. You may as well. But if you're thinking about going in the trade and you're doing your TA and you're at that 50% zone, that is the area of the chart that you want to try and avoid. Why? Because we don't know which way it's going to go. We're neither bullish or bearish. We're looking for a sign. And look, even if you get a sign, even if this is going into bullish territory, so you can take a short, it's got a long way to go before we're even worrying about that. We want to try and avoid this area. So that's why you might see the Discord being a bit quiet around this time, because it's just not a good time for us to have an edge in our trades. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for trades where we have an edge. If we don't have an edge, we're not interested. If we don't have a discount, we're not interested. Who wants to trade at full price? We don't go to the supermarket and look at the prices, or look at the items that have full price, do we? We go to the supermarket and we look at the things that are of discount. We're lucky when we trade because we have the option to go long or short. So we can take a discount at the top by going long. We can take a discount at the bottom by going short. Other way around. Take a discount at the bottom by going long and take a discount at the top by going short. So we're lucky. We got discounts on both ends. So let's use them. Let's utilize them. Let's take a look at the charts. And I believe your trade, Zach. I believe your trade was on ETH. Let me just confirm on my other screen. Here we go. Yeah, so you've done a short on ETH, entering in around about the 121, the 1212 mark. Let's have a look at that on the chart. Thing is, I warned you. I warned you all. Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did. So I'm guilty of this too. So 1212, was it 1212 around here? I mean, look, it looks like a great OB. This is the OB you've targeted right here. That's the OB you've targeted. It looks like it should be a good trade, and for a good part of my trading life, I would have absolutely taken that. Especially once I started learning about smart money. I would have thought, yeah, look, the price is going to bounce off that. The price is going to come up here and it's going to bounce. Because that's what smart money concepts teach us. It's not always about that. It's about taking those concepts and using them at times where we have an edge. And when the price is at 50% of the range, we don't really have an edge. Make sure we're zooming out. If we're looking at this price structure here, if we're looking at this from the 17th, fuck me, that looks like a beautiful trade. That looks wonderful. Right at the top of this price structure here, that looks great. Take a short. Why not? That looks wonderful. But you zoom out a little bit, just a little bit too. And we go up and we go, oh shit. You know what? That's the 50% mark of this price structure. And we don't trade at 50%. Well, we get excited. We see price coming up and we're pretty sure that we can predict it. And to me, you've been pretty lucky here because price has reacted off this OB. So you could probably end this in a profit. But in my view, price is probably going to sit around here and come back up. I would hope. Because I'm looking for price to show us a bullish signal by coming over this mark here. That's what I'm looking for. I'm hoping it does, because if you see a bullish signal coming up there, price is probably going to come up higher. What I'm looking for the next couple of hours or the next day or so in terms of finding where I want to trade will be seeing the price retrace back to this zone here. I'm looking for this zone here. This zone is sitting beautifully, and I'm not doing this on Bitcoin. I'm only doing this trade on ETH because I like the structure on ETH right now. From the top to the bottom. Nope, sorry, from the bottom to the top. I feel like I've done this about 50,000 times today. From the bottom to the top. At the 60 to 70% retracement, we have a beautiful long we can do there. And what I love about this long is you can set this target here, this take profit target. You can set that as soon as this gets triggered, and hopefully it will. As soon as this gets triggered, you can set this take profit mark here to take 50% of your profit. At a 4.4 risk to reward ratio, that is wonderful. And the best thing is, once you've reached your take profit, you could set your stop loss way up here at the 0.38 line. You could set your stop loss there, and you could just move your take profit all the way up and get a 10 risk to reward ratio. 10. Oops. Back you go. Back you go. That's my plan. That's smart money concepts. Now, even though I said I'm looking for a retracement for this price to come down here, that doesn't mean it will. I'd love it to, but that doesn't mean it will. Especially at this 50 mark. It could come down a little bit and go up, and come down a little bit and go up further, and come down and go up. At this 50% mark, the price fluctuates too difficultly for us to predict. So the moves are less wild. If you look here, and just looking at this range, at the 50% mark, the moves are not wild at all. And they're not discounted. That's the thing. I'm looking for that discount. Why? Because price moves really quickly off discounts. Looking at those places where there is increased demand level. We have demand when price has moved up. And price up here, well, we have a high supply zone up here. A high supply zone, but we don't know at that 50% mark, we don't know how much supply we have there. You're much more likely to get a heavier supply zone up in the top of the structure than you are in the middle of the structure, or even at the lower end of the structure. So that's why we try and avoid the 50% mark. What do you think? Is that landing? I hope that's landing for you. I did see a couple of cool entries that I would love to show you guys. Where did I see them? I think I saw them in results. Yeah, no worries, mate. I'm just rehashing what I've learned from Nick, and I think I'm using some of his exact words. So the cool thing about coming on and doing this stream is by rehashing them, I'm rehashing them from myself, because I screw up all the time. I teach these things on this stream. Well, I just started to, but I'm not a professional yet. But I'm teaching these things, and they're becoming clearer to me by explaining them. If I can't explain them, I can't really do them. I wanted to show you some of these cool trades. Nick had a great trade here. Ethereum as well. I'll map out his trade. And that was at 1,100. When did he go in? Yeah, I can see where he's done that. That's freaking wonderful. I wish I was paying more attention at this point. I really wish I was paying more attention. I guess I dropped the ball. I really dropped the ball. It's my own fault. I got too caught up in nonsense. Price is back here. And I guess, I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't pick up on this. I guess I'm just not, no one's perfect. But price had done its whole structural thing and Came over here for a while. This is when the FTX bullshit was happening. Price is just ranging in this base right here. And suddenly we get some movement. Price coming back down. And I guess I got caught up in the story of things, thinking everybody's taking their money off the exchanges. Price is coming back down. Price is looking like that is some hard falls right there. Some really quick falls. And I was thinking that price was going to break through this range. And I think I let fear get the better of me. I'm not going to do it again. Because I missed out on a good opportunity. And because I let fear get the better of me, I wasn't watching for what happened right here. If we drill down to the 15 minute, price has come into this zone, which I should have been watching. We have a lovely big demand zone here. People want to buy at this price. It's the lowest it had been. So this is the huge demand zone sitting right here. And if I remind you of rule number 1, I got these working now, I think. Rule number 1. What is rule number 1? Can you tell me rule? I don't think. Well, I've only been doing rule number 1 for one trade this morning. I got these rules. What is rule number 1? Did that come through? Did my? Oh, I didn't load in. Let's try it again. Rule number 1. Did that load in? Yeah. What is rule number 1? Rule number 1: shorts at premium prices, longs at discounted prices. That's rule number 1. I'm going to be repeating that every time I come on the stream. Rule number 1: shorts at premium prices, longs at discounted prices. Rule number 2, and I went on about these this morning. Rule number 2. Let's see if that worked. Rule number 2. Yeah, it did. Awesome. I'm happy with that. Let me go back to my chat. Rule number 2. Again, I'm going to be repeating these all the time. Rule number 2. We never trade at 50% of the range. It's rule number 2. These are my rules, by the way. I've written these rules for myself based off what Nick tells us, what Nick drills into us. I wrote these for myself so that I can just remind myself over and over and over and over again of these rules. Those are the only 2 rules that are valid right now. So we're good. Now, Nick's trade. This was fantastic. Price has come down into this demand zone right here. And this is a huge demand zone. The price has jumped off here so much. People are wanting this price again. I would be. If I want to buy into Bitcoin, I want the cheapest price possible. If I'm smart money, if I'm anyone with a large amount of money and I want to buy some crypto, this is where I want to buy it from. This zone right here. If I want in, if I'm an investor, if I'm trying to make some waves and increase my bag size, I want the best price possible. And that is this demand zone here. Nick's seen it come back into this demand zone. Now I'm fairly sure he hasn't even gone in yet. Most of us amateurs, like myself included, absolutely included in that, would have already had our trades sitting here at the 50% zone. The 50% of this particular OB in this supply zone, so in this demand zone, we would have had our short ready to go. So for me, as soon as the price came, oops, that's a short. I said short. I should have said long. For me, as soon as this price entered into this zone again, my trade should have automatically triggered. I just didn't have it on. And where would I have been targeting? Wow, it's the bottom of the range. I would have hoped to have a trade that took me all the way to the top, but you could at least take a 50% profit right there at the top of that zone right there for 3 to 1. But I would have kept it. I would have kept it. It's a 6 RR on that trade. That was lovely. But Nick, I think, went further. Let's have a look at Nick's. I won't show you guys the actual image. He got in at 1100. Let me just double check that. He got in 1100. His stop was 1059. 10.59. So there was much more room in Nick's trade than mine. Much more room. Arguably a better trade. He's taken it up to 12.28 was his target. 1228. So hasn't even reached his zone yet. It didn't reach, well, I don't know. I can't remember even where it got up to. Oops, come back there. Get back there. Go. Okay. Now, when did Nick make this trade? That's the question. Let's have a look. When did he put that on? Pretty sure he put it on right here. Pretty sure. The exact timing, I'm not sure of. Let's see how it went. Boom. This is the most testing moments. We've had good reactions so far. We've had higher highs. And the 15-minute chart can be pretty scary. The cool thing is I've completely forgotten how the price action moves. This is kind of thrilling. Oh. Lucky Nick had plenty of room. The difference between his chart and mine is he's got a much bigger zone here, a much bigger demand zone written on his chart. Oh, that's looking lovely. Just extend this out. It's really cool replaying other people's trades. Prices ranging. Looking for, now this is still a good opportunity for you to go and make smaller trades. We are thinking the price is going to go up from here because it's hit the bottom of the range. We're thinking it's moving up. Great opportunities still here for a long. I saw a couple of the guys do longs here. Even on the 15-minute time frame, there are some great opportunities for some really high returns here. Yeah, that's really solid. Now, up until to this point, this is probably the last place you want to be taking a long. You're starting to get out of the discount territory and close to that 50% zone. If you're going to be taking longs here, you want to make sure you've got really wide long stops. And that's the reason why. Look at that. The closer we get to that 50% zone, the more volume we see both ways. So price is retraced back to the 50%. Hasn't retraced back to this 60% mark. And then boom, up we go. Come on, you good thing, let's go. Man, this is a long trade. So we had this open for a few days. Boom. I mean, for me, I probably would have taken profit there. Probably. Depends if you have balls of steel or not. Mine are a bit more squishy. Oh, you could have probably taken full profit up here. Yeah, nearly full profit. Fucking fantastic. That is lovely. That is a lovely trade. So that's where things are. That's how it goes. We do not take trades at 50%. Let's go over these rules again. Hey. All right. Let's go over these rules. Rule number 1. Do you remember rule number 1? Rule number 1. Shorts at premium prices, longs at discounted prices. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2. These are my own personal rules, remember, but rule number 2. We never trade at 50% of the range. Never trade at 50% of the range. So we're drawing out our ranges every time we look at the charts, just to make sure. If it's in a new range, we draw it out. Take a fib from the top of the range to the bottom of the range. We draw a line across the middle and figure out where is the 50% mark. And we do not trade at the 50% mark. That's rule number 2. Rule number 3. Rule number 3. We must target the next OB, or potentially we want to target the next OB order block, and the risk to reward ratio must be 3 or above. Now we have this rule that the risk reward ratio must be 3 or above, but if you're not targeting the next OB up, and you're targeting 2 or 3 OBs up just to get that 3 to 1, that minimum 3 risk to reward ratio, then your trade is not valid. Targeting the next valid order block needs to give you a risk to reward ratio of 3 to 1. Oops. Otherwise, we're just not interested. It's not a good trade. Rule number 4. Rule number 4. Stop loss should be 25% of the order block you're targeting. And it should be set to a point where if you're wrong, if the trade fails, if you hit your stop loss, it means your bias is wrong. It means all of a sudden we've gone from bullish to bearish, right? If your trade isn't showing that kind of response, or not response, if your trade setup isn't showing that if you're wrong, your whole bias is wrong, go back and revalidate your trade. Think about it like that. If your stop loss gets hit, it must be because your bias was wrong. Not because your bias was right, but price just did something different. If your bias is correct and it hit your stop loss, it means something is wrong with your trade. Maybe you're not being lenient enough for your stop loss. Maybe you've taken the wrong entry point. Maybe you're not doing your fib to check for a 60 to 70% retracement. Maybe you just got unlucky. If it's happening more than 1 or 2 times, well, it's time to make sure you're setting a stop loss for 50% of the entire order block, and that you're choosing the right trade where your stop loss means that your bias was completely wrong. All right. Rule number 5. My last rule that I have. Whoop, it does a refresh. Fantastic. I didn't think of that. I might have to make it F6. All right. Rule number 5. We don't trade against the Bitcoin bias. And this is my own personal rule. This isn't necessarily a rule that everyone has to follow, but for me, if Bitcoin is bullish and if Bitcoin is at 50% of the range, well, I'm not going to go jump on BNB, which, to show you guys what I mean, BNB is at 50% of its top range. It's nearly at premium prices. It's just about at premium prices. Just about. If we are looking at a larger time frame, then BNB is above the 50% range. Let's double check that. Now I'm looking at it, it doesn't quite look right. Let's double check that. From the top to the bottom, 50% range. Now let's just say BNB continues to go up. and I want to take a short. Let's just say it does that. Let's just say BNB continues to go up and Bitcoin goes down. Even if BNB is at this perfect point here for me to take a short, for me personally, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because if the what am I trying to say? If the Bitcoin bias is saying it's bearish or bullish, sorry, and I'm taking a short, well, on BNB, it doesn't match up. Other altcoins are likely to follow suit of Bitcoin, and we need to be careful of that. It's great when they all line up. When BNB lines up for a great short and Bitcoin lines up for a great short, that's the best. That's the best. If BNB is lining up for a good long, but Bitcoin's lining up for a short, I'd probably just take the short on Bitcoin. I'll probably give BNB a skip on that one. I have seen a few people trading in our group doing that kind of thing where Bitcoin's not quite following the same steps as BNBs. So they do a short on BNB where you should be doing a long on Bitcoin. When you're looking in your Bybit account or any trading account, you should not be seeing shorts and longs in your orders. Not at the same time. Not at the same time. We don't short one coin and do a long in another coin. That's asking for trouble. You might think it's hedging your bet, but it's not really hedging your bet. It's asking for trouble. All right. So what's the plan from here? Well, I've got these trades. I'll show you my Bybit. I got these trades in here. I got 3 possible trades that I'm looking at. I'm looking at a long for ETH, 2 longs for ETH, and a long for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin long that I'm looking for personally is right down here. I didn't like the price structure that we have here. In terms of picking up another long, usually we could look for a retracement to the 60% level and pick up a long there, but I can't really see one where I'm comfortable doing that for Bitcoin right now. Now, other people in our group, maybe they've seen something that I haven't. It happens. But for me, the 60% to 70% golden level, it's just not there. There's not even a good breaker block that I can see, that I can target for a good Bitcoin retracement. It could be that Bitcoin comes down to the 50% mark here, retraces back there, and goes up. It could be. I'm not really interested in a 50% discount that doesn't really get my motor going. I'm looking for a 60% to a 70%, somewhere in the middle there, retracement. And because there's nothing here solid that I can see, I'm skipping that. The only trade I'm interested in on Bitcoin is right down the bottom of the range. And I'm going to have to be careful, because it's the second time we will have hit the bottom of the range, and it will come back down. Of course it will come back down. It's going to get retested for sure. When it does get tested, I need to be careful. The more times that we have this demand block down here getting tested, the weaker it's going to get. And as it gets weaker, we might see price drop down into this particular demand zone. Or worse, this one down here. I hope we don't see that. I hope we get a bullish turn. I'm looking for a bullish run. We've weeded out the bad crypto exchanges, I hope. And if we don't get any more bad news in crypto, we could see a bull run. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? So that's what I'm personally looking for. But on the ETH side of things, you have different price structure on ETH. I'm just going to get rid of Nick's trade. It was beautiful. And thank you for that example, Nick. For ETH, I like the price structure on ETH a lot more. From the bottom to the top, there is a beautiful demand zone right here at the 60% mark, between 60 and 70%. So my first trade is targeting here, and this is in the Bybit order book. I'm targeting this demand zone right here. I'm hoping price retraces back down, takes these stops, because we have here a trend line moving all the way up, and we have stops as the price hits the trend line. Now, of course, we use smart money. We don't make our orders on trend lines. That is what retail traders do. We don't do that. But we know how retail traders think, and when they see a trend line, well, they start getting excited. All right, when I see a trend line, I get excited now, but for different reasons. I get excited because I can see all the stops that are hitting that trend line. You can see it. This price doesn't just magically go up by itself. You know, this price didn't just form this trend line because it seemed like a good idea. No, what happened was the price hit this trend line. Retail traders jumped in. They jumped in thinking the price has to follow a trend line. They love their trend lines. Why do they love their trend lines so much? I don't know why. I mean, I used to love it so much. I used to get in on this. Price would come here and be like, yeah, let's do a long. Price would come here, up on here. Yeah, let's do another long. Price would hit here. Let's do another long. Why would they do that? I don't know. It just seems like that's the way it works. In reality, what's actually happening is every time it hits this line, people are putting their stops there. They're going long, and stops are going in there. And what does that mean? Well, that is currency, liquidity for smart money to come in and take when they need it. If we're moving long, that there would be USTD. If we're moving short, it'd be Bitcoin up here that you could buy. Or would it be the other way around? You'd be selling Bitcoin. Either way, there's liquidity here for exchange. And smart money will come in and they'll see the high time frames because they always work on high time frames. Smart money isn't coming in at the 15-minute mark. They're all working in the high time frames. They're looking for their discount, looking for what's best for them. So they're happy to take all the stops, especially when price is sitting here under the 50% mark. Because they're waiting for that. They want to buy their Bitcoin, push the price up and sell it up here at premium prices. That's their goal. That's their goal. Their only goal is to buy cheap, sell high, sell expensive and buy cheap. That's it. It's so simple. So I'm waiting for them to take these stops and I'll re-enter at this retracement here. If all hell breaks loose and I lose that trade, I'll be re-entering at the bottom, but I highly doubt that. Most likely what's going to happen is we're going to hit the 60% mark. We're going to bounce off that because it's a good place for a retracement, and we'll bounce off there. I'll move my stop loss up to a safe point and I'll let it ride. And hopefully if we don't make past this 50%, or hopefully we just peak over this 50% mark here and retrace back down and pick up my order and boom, explode on the way up. That's what I'm hoping for. And I will report back to the group when that happens. Alright, I'm going to keep this stream tonight pretty short and sweet. I just wanted to give an update and remind everybody that we do not trade at 50%. Alright, we don't pick up our shorts, we don't pick up our longs. We leave that 50% mark where it is. It's danger zone. I need to get a sound effect for the danger zone. I'm going to work on that. Alright guys, take it easy. I will be streaming again tomorrow. And I don't know when, but at some point tomorrow I'll be streaming, maybe in the morning, maybe in the evening. Until then, keep your orders safe. Alright. Make sure you're bulletproofing your trades. Make sure you're using your smart money concepts and avoiding risky trades. We're not here to gamble, guys. We're not here to gamble. All right. We are here to keep it clean. We're here to make money. And you don't make money when we gamble. Smart, clean, clear trades. If you do have any questions, if you do have any charts you want me to see and take a look at before I log off, now's that time, so get in quick. I'll give you a couple minutes to reply. If there's any charts you want to look over as a team, just let me know. I'll stick around for just a couple more minutes. But if there's nothing to look at, if you guys are all happy, I will log off and we can chat again tomorrow. If you'll have me. Are there any charts I haven't seen in a while? I'll keep all these up. While I give you a couple of minutes to respond, if you do have any charts you want us to look at, I'm just going to fix that one error I had in my setup. I think it was for rule number 5. I was refreshing my screen. So I'll just quickly fix that now. Rule number 5. Make that Shift F6. Done. Fixed. All right. Let me just check and see if there's any other charts we might want to look at today. We've checked out Bitcoin. We've checked out ETH. We've checked out XRP. We've looked at BNB. I think Matic was the other one if someone wanted me to look at the other day. I'm going to swap my screen over. I'll take a quick look at Matic before I go. All right. Matic. Don't mind all of my lines. Now these lines are something you guys might want to do. They can be noisy. These are the monthly, weekly, and daily levels. I'm just going to turn mine off for now. The idea behind them is when you start to see your supply and demand zones build up, you'll get bigger pushes of supply or demand zones that are close to the levels. And the biggest levels that you'll find you get pushes off are the monthlies, followed by the weeklies, and then the dailies. And if you look at this Matic chart here, you can see the weekly level here has been the one that's been pushing all of the volume up from this demand zone down here. So that's why I do those. You don't need them, and they're not hard to do anyway, but you really don't need them. They are just useful. Useful to have a quick squiz at when you're trying to do your chart. Let me delete all this and start again. I always find it better when I start again, for the most part. Well, all right, Matic, where are we? Well, this is a interesting chart. Let's have a quick look at the 4-hour. Ooh, yikes. Yikes in a good way. If we are looking at this chart, and this is back in July, starting from July. Let's get rid of this line. Let's get rid of everything. I know I could have probably pressed one button and created a clean chart. Probably. There's always easier ways to do it than I do things. Alright, July. Had a big drop through July, and we started this brand new climb to this brand new structure. Very, very cool. We are currently, in terms of that, we're currently in the upper premium prices. In the upper premium prices. What I'm interested in really is from, say, August and above. But you know what? We'll map this out anyway, just quickly. So we'll take our fib from the bottom to the top, and we can see here overall, from the bottom to the top, at this very moment in this longer, higher time frame structure, Matic is sitting just above the 50% mark. If you zoom in though, and we're only looking at the structure from August to now. Structure from August to now. Draw that 50% line in. Price is at the lower end. Price is at a discount right now. So keep this in mind. We are at discounted premium prices in Matic. Discounted premium prices. Always got to consider that. Now, am I saying we could do shorts up here? Yeah, shorts from The top half of this structure and down will be brilliant. I'd be thinking very carefully about doing longs from here. For sure, we're in the discounted price compared to, say, October. But always keep in mind the high time frames, the longer time frames, because that's what smart money is doing. People with large hedge funds, people with lots of money that are ready to invest, ready to trade, they're doing this. They're looking at where we are in the big picture. And they're figuring out, should I be buying at this price or should I be waiting? This is a premium level price for them. And because this is a premium level price for them, going long isn't a great idea. It is an idea, and it's certainly doable, but it's not a great idea. What I'd be looking for at the moment from Matic is a good opportunity for a short. Now, as we know from looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin could be almost ready to show us some bullish move up to the top of its zone. Now, if Bitcoin does move to the top of its zone, we should probably see Matic come above this 50% of its zone mark. And if it does that, which is probably why I had the short trade ideas up there before, if Matic does come up to the 50% zone, we have an 8-hour supply zone right here. So there'll be a lot of people looking to sell their Matic at that point. Not just that, but price came back up into this supply zone and moved back down. If we are to go into the 1 hour from there, what do we see? Can we find a nice smaller supply zone with a nice OB in there to target a decent short? Oops. And of course we can. Of course we can. But we've also got big scammy wicks. Those are wicks to worry about. What have we got happening over on the... One thing I like to do when we have wicks like this is just quickly move over to the left and see why. See what zone we had that could have been taking that wick. So I just want to take a quick look over here to the left. And what do we have? Always important for you guys to do. Always be looking to the left of your structure to see what actually happened. See if you can put the pieces together, the puzzle pieces together, to figure out what happened. We were in a steady decline from the peak of Matic way back in March 22. Slow and steady decline. Prices leveled out here into a range. And when prices started to really drop, it was really from here. Does that line up with what we're seeing at this point right here? Let me just draw a box. Does this line up at all with the structure over here? Oh my God, yes it does. Look at that. Look at that. It's funny how things work, isn't it? The price structure on Matic that caused the biggest dip, or was just before the biggest dip, has a humongous big supply zone with a lovely order block right there. Inside the 4 hour, or inside the 8 hours supply zone, we have a nice big 4 hour OB. Let's move that over. Yes. That's the smoking gun we're looking for. That's the point where you're looking to take a short on Matic. So let's draw it up. Smart money tells us we take 50% of our OB. Pop in a short at 50%, right there. We want to make sure that our stop is nice and roomy. Give it room to move. And we want to target a decent OB. I'd be targeting down here. Why would I be targeting there? Because we can see price tends to come up to this point here. And that's when people start jumping in and out. That's a 4.9 risk to reward for that short. And this would be take profit 1. Take profit 2 is going to be at the bottom of this range. And you know what? You could drop 50% there as well. You could hopefully, if price structure allows it, take this all the way down the bottom for an enormous 13 risk to reward ratio. Incredible. All right. Now, just because you have this trade here, let's just say price jumps back up in here, which it probably will. And let's just say it doesn't trigger your short. What can you do? Are you done? Are you just going to sit there sadly missing out? No. No, because this is your biggest overarching trade. This is the trade that you saw on the chart that you wanted to get into. If you don't get into it, don't panic. Wait for structure to shift. Wait for structure to appear in front of you and find another entry. Find another entry. Look, there are loads of entry. Even on this old one here, there are loads of shorts that you could have taken. Price moved aggressively down from this OB right here. Right? Leaving a massive big supply right here. You could have taken a short. Could have taken a short at 50%. Giving yourself a nice big 20% zone there. You could have taken it down to here. Okay, that's not quite the 3 we're looking for. We might be able to squeeze a little bit less there, and we might be able to actually increase the price we're coming in on. And that's just at the high time frame. That's at 4 hours. Let's just delete that, because mostly if you miss that trade, you're looking for the smaller 1 hour opportunities to jump in. All right. So let's get rid of this one. Even though that was viable, there are better ways to do this. So price came up and it just missed your trade. What do you want to do? You just missed out. Well, let's just watch price action. Let's just see what happens. Let's wait for a supply to show us. And we've got a big dip here. We've got a break in structure right here. And it's big. It's left an imbalance right there. And I know I'm doing this where I can see the whole chart. That's the point, guys. We're just practicing here. I know this isn't a challenge. I'm just showing examples. We have a zone here. Now, if I'm doing this on the smaller time zones and I really want to make sure I get in the trade, I don't always set my trade to be 50% of the order block there. You don't need to. If you can find a decent enough trade where you can actually set your trade to here, sometimes you want to do that on the smaller time frames. From here, I can actually set this to be above the swing high, targeting a good zone. Well, 50% of the range is a good place to target. And from there, we have a 3.5 risk to reward short. Risk to reward. That sounds like I have a lisp when I say that too fast. Go risk to reward. That's a 3.5. That's a phenomenal trade. If you're really, really clever, you would have kept that running all the way down to here. 7 ratio of 7 risk to reward. That would have been great. So with that in mind, and we'll delete that. We are looking for a trade to come up, and I'm looking for an even high. For an even high, looking to get into this trade right here. I'd probably lower this so we can guarantee entry. Honestly. Still gives us a risk to reward of 5 coming all the way down there. But that's the actual supply zone that I'm targeting. And if the price comes up and doesn't quite hit that, if we do get the same high, that's fine. I'll find a short in that zone as long as it's in the bias in the direction that I'm looking for, then it's completely valid. You can look for smaller trades. But what we're not doing is we're not looking to enter a trade at the 50% mark. Now, if you're getting confused here as to why my trade is continuing past the 50% zone, we don't enter trades at the 50% zone, but if you're in a trade from above the 50% zone, you can stay in. You can stay in all day. As long as you bulletproof that trade, as long as you're making smart decisions and you're not risking your stops, you can stay in. By all means, stay in. So once the price starts to get up to here, and this is the other thing, when do we enter our short? When the price comes up into our premium zone, when do we want to enter the short? I mean, we're not looking for shorts automatically as soon as it enters into this premium zone. We're looking for swing failure. We're looking for price to come up here. Now, price could be bullish. Price could be saying, hey, I think I'm going to run. I think I'm really going to run. But before it runs, we will see a retracement. We'll see some bullish signals. We might see a higher high. If we see a higher high come in, we'll be looking for a long position on the retracement. Preferably, in this case, in the lower half of the upper zone. Remember, everything above the bottom yellow line here, everything above here is still premium. If we get a higher high coming through on this one, if this one goes up and gives us a higher high here, and we take a long here, it's still a premium price. It's a discounted premium price, but it's still a premium price. We'd prefer it below this yellow line. So if we do see a higher high come through, if higher high comes through, and it retraces back down to here under the yellow line, I'm taking that for sure. I'm taking that. But at the same time, if we see price come up and give us a higher high, you could just as easily be looking at this zone for a long at the 60% mark. Somewhere there. I'll be drawing it in the 4 hour. Nick was saying in the group that he's preferring the 2 hour lately. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the 2 hour. So if we get a higher high, and only if we get a higher high, I'll be looking for a retracement around this zone to take us all the way to the moon. Well, all the way up. Okay, that's the zone I'll be looking at. It's not quite discounted to me, so I'll only be doing that if we see a higher high. If we see equal highs, for me, that's off the table. Even though we'd be in the lower half of this zone, it's still discounted premium prices, which really is just normal prices. If you can get a discounted premium price, it's just normal. It's just a normal price. I'll be hoping to get my longs in under this line here. And we have had opportunity in this month to grab some longs under here. In fact, just recently, when was this? Oh man, that was yesterday. What was I doing yesterday? I should have been looking at this. Someone did tell me to look at Matic. I don't know why I didn't. We could get better discounts. Yeah, I mean, it's close to the 50% mark at a high time frame. But it's definitely a discount. What do you guys think? Is that something you'd be interested in taking? You could take it from here. You could pop along on there. And it's a bit close to the 50% mark for me, honestly. But it is the lower half of the entire range. And price hasn't really come that low for a while. No, I'm sorry, I can't do it. It's not enough discount for me. It's too risky. It's too risky. It's too close to 50%. I'd be looking for a short. And you know, what if we actually don't get the opportunity to make an equal high? Where is it? Where can we? Okay, that's a good point. Looks like my camera just went off. That's all right. Don't need to see my face. I think my camera's overheated. It's getting pretty warm in here. Where can we go to catch a short from this position here? Other way around. All right. This particular zone here from the high of before is somewhere right here. You can see people took that short and they did really well. This is the zone I'd be looking at. 60% from the peak. Looks like a decent place for me to take a short. Oops. Just like we have a setup right now for ETH where we have the 60% mark for a long, and we have the 50% mark, and like an 80 to 90% mark for the long. I'll show you that in a second. So for ETH, we've marked out the 60% retracement and the 80 to 90% retracement. Those are the two places that I'm looking to take my longs. Just like that, over in Matic, we have these two spots here. 60% retracement and 80 to 90% retracement, even 100 here. I have those marked out as places of interest. I am not taking those just yet though. I'm not putting them into Bybit. I'm not putting them into my order book, into my order sheet. You'll see here, Matic is not there. I was putting an XRP short in. I was doing that this morning. I was in the process of putting an XRP short in the system. I was going to order it. And then I realized what a big mistake that was. That's when I wrote rule number 5. What's rule number 5? Do you remember? I'm repeating these to myself because I'm trying to remember these myself. Rule number 5, we don't go against the Bitcoin bias. What's the Bitcoin bias right now? Well, it looks like to be heading bullish. So I'm not going to be looking for a short. We could see Bitcoin go bullish enough that the candles come up into here, into these zones that I've marked. And you know, that could be then the opportunity to go short, as long as Bitcoin is looking like it's going back down. So we're looking to Bitcoin and we're looking to ETH as examples of where the price is probably going. Those guys are our signal flares, guys. So I'll say that again. While I might have these areas mapped out for shorts, they are not getting ordered until I see that Bitcoin is actually coming down. I'm not putting any shorts in until I see Bitcoin confirmed to be bearish. And what I mean by bearish is I'd want to see Bitcoin come up to the top of its range, and I want to see it have a swing failure, or even hitting a higher high and coming back down. And when it comes back down, if XRP is in, not XRP, if Matic is in these zones that I've looked at here, then I'll be looking to take those shorts on Matic. And I'll probably be shorting them all the way down with smaller trades. Make sense, guys? All right, I think I'm going to end it here for the day. I think I've done enough streaming. My voice is getting crackly. I hope you guys are getting some value out of these. Because I'm getting value just out of sitting here and talking about this. You know, time in front of the charts is how we get better. There is no other way to improve your skills except sitting here and repeating what we've learned. Even watching me repeat what we've learned. Sometimes watching me repeat mistakes. That's how we learn. It is time in front of the charts. And that's all it comes down to. That's why Nick's better than us. He spent many more thousands of hours in front of the charts. That's why Dan's better than us. That's why I am not giving up. I'm going to keep doing this until my bag is so full that I can't close the drawstring and the coins are falling out. So I started this particular account that I'm trading with, this Bybit account, started at $100. We're at about $400 equity. I've lost 2 trades this week, totaling $40. Lost 2 trades. So started with 100, got it up to about 440. I think I had it up to 500. And this week I have made some mistakes. Those mistakes have been like a hard punch to the nose. And I chalk them down to starting the stream, because this has been a whole new thing for me. Actually making trades live on a stream gave me the jitters. Put a bit of pressure on me, which is good, which is fantastic. Feeling that pressure, being able to work my way through it, and being able to be strategic was actually a really good exercise. Because for the last few weeks, my charts were on fire, my trades were on fire, I was doing great, but the minute I start streaming, it all goes to hell, and I started making stupid decisions. That's fine. I feel like I've gotten used to this now. I feel like I'm actually back. And the cool thing is, Nick can chime in and watch these and tell me if I'm making mistakes, but the feedback I got so far was, so far, today, spot on. So guys, I'm going to finish it up here tonight. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I will be back as soon as possible. I'm trying to get as many hours up here on Twitch as possible. The more hours I can do, the more followers I'm going to get. My goal is 50 followers. And I want to have about 10 streams done by the time I hit 50 followers. That way, I will become a Twitch affiliate. I'm already a Twitch affiliate on one of my other accounts. That account is completely different to crypto. Not even related to gaming, so I can't really cross-pollinate. Nobody in that other account would be interested in this. So that's the goal, guys. I would appreciate the follows, the chats. I would appreciate the slap on the back. I just appreciate anything. And I appreciate you watching. So thank you very much. I will see you guys probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then definitely the next day. For those of you who are American, happy Thanksgiving for tomorrow. And for those of you who are Australian, happy Black Friday tomorrow. See you.